Very respectful answer. Why would we blame her for saying that she disrespected Congress?
Are you rebuking this committee?
Why am I supposed to rebuke the committee? I am
You
not.
have been saying things for a while. You have been rebuking this committee.
You are saying that.
We're not blaming the Vice President on this. Honorable Marcolita.
We have not done anything wrong. By all means, huwag kayo magbigay ng budget. Hindi naman ang budget ang punteriya ninyo. What you are trying to do is make a case for impeachment. Hindi ako namumulitika. Hindi ako ang problema ng bayan na ito.
This is a very respectful answer. Why would we blame her for saying that she disrespected Congress?
Are you?
So yun mga kataps, panoorin natin tong mga kaguluhan sa Quad Committee mga kataps, no? About sa OVP na budget, no? So yun, panoorin natin. Yung
To rebuke the committee. I am
You
not.
have been saying things for a while. You have been rebuking this committee.
You are saying that.
We're not blaming the Vice President on this. Honorable Marcolita.
Manifest that the refusal of Her Excellency Vice President Sara Duterte to take her oath in today's hearing in the conduct of inquiry in aid of legislation is an affirmation of her stand, her position during the budget briefing of the OVP. And this representation wishes to manifest that when the resource speaker does not take her oath, then it follows that whatever statement she will provide, we call it could not hold any water. That being not under oath, the same cannot be used as an evidence in any inquiry, in any proceeding, Mr. Chair. In other words, her refusal to answer in the last budget briefing of the OVP is tantamount to her stand in today's inquiry of refusing to take her oath. That is for manifestation, Mr. Chair. And with that, Mr. Chair, I wish to remind the committee, our esteemed colleagues, and the Filipino people of the constitutional mandate that public office is a public trust. When there is a question, we're bound to answer. We're bound to explain. As a matter of fact, no less than the Philippine Constitution provides, we are accountable to the Filipino people at all times. We are now confronted by the issue on confidential fund. And I wish to emphasize, ang confidential fund po ay pera ng taong bayan. And we owe it to the people to explain kung paano ito ginastos, saan ito napunta, and to be specific, sinunod po ba natin ang joint circular regulating the use of confidential fund?
Yes, the Honorable Marcolita.
May I offer a counter manifestation, Mr. Chair?
Later po, 1 minute na lang po siya and then
Kasi
I will
baka
break.
makalimutan yung continuity ng yung flow ng discussion. I'd like to ask only, Mr. Chair, by way of manifestation, is there anybody who is questioning the power of the purse of Congress? Is there anybody who is questioning the legislative function and oversight function of Congress? Is there? Because if there is none, then we are not supposed to overextend the discussion or any manifestation because nobody is questioning that. And I think nobody could question that. The Vice President has 6 months within which to reply and make an answer. That is correct, Madam Kowa. How many agencies of government today are subjected to notice of disallowance? Do you have a number? How many agencies today?
With all due respect to the honor,
That is a question I will leave, and I will
Yes.
terminate my manifestation, Madam.
Yes, but I would like to respond.
this is still my time.
Yes, but I would like to respond to your manifestation, Congressman Marcolita.
Parliamentary
Let
inquiry,
me-
Mr. Chair. Parliamentary inquiry
What is
muna.
the parliamentary inquiry of the
I would
Honorable
like to
Abante?
ask the Honorable Marcolita, is he rebuking this committee?
What is the question, Mr. Chair?
Are you rebuking this committee?
Why am I supposed to rebuke the committee? I am
You
not.
have been saying things for a while.
What?
You have been rebuking this committee.
You are saying that?
We're not blaming the Vice President on this.
I
Honorable
asked the question.
Marcolita, we
I asked
are
the
not
question.
blaming
The right
This
to
is
defend.
1 minute suspension is
Move to suspend.
fund to the manifestation of the Honorable Marcoleta. Let me cite Section 4, Rule 4, Section 1, last paragraph, which provides that the filing or pendency of a case before any court, tribunal, quasi-judicial, or administrative body shall not stop or abate any inquiry conducted to carry out a legislative purpose. What we are doing right now is we are doing our mandate. This is this hearing is in aid of legislation. So wala pa naman po tayong inaakusahan dito. The fact that the issue is still with COA and is still pending appeal, it does not stop this committee from conducting an inquiry in aid of legislation to conduct or to carry out our legislative purpose. So, yun lamang po. With this, I would like to give the... Ilang minuto pa po? Ma'am, you still have 1 more minute.
Mr. Chair, in response to the Honorable Marcoleta, this representation did not say that the OVP is questioning the power of the Congress. However, Mr. Chair, I wish to state for the record, how else will you interpret her refusal to answer? How else will you interpret her refusal to take an oath? I think, Mr. Chair, the only reasonable interpretation on her gestures is that she refused to participate in the investigation or inquiry in aid of legislation that we are conducting. Secondly, Mr. Chair, about the notice of disallowance, we take cognizance of the fact that this is not yet final and executory. As a matter of fact, the COA commented that the OVP has a period of 180 days, equivalent to 6 months to solicit to make an appeal for the purpose of seeking for a possible reversal of the ND. However, confidential fund from regular fund in 2 aspects. One is procurement, second is liquidation. Because we've been discussing about CF, confidential fund. The question is, naiintindihan ho ba tayo ng mga Pilipinong mamamayan? Now, I think it's high time for us to explain, COA, ano po ba ang diferensya o pagkakaiba? Confidential from regular with respect to one is procurement and second is liquidation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
COA? Any representative from COA? Yes, Attorney Camora.
As to the confidential fund, it refers to a lump sum amount provided to NGAs, LGUs, and COBs for their confidential expenses, which expenses pertain to or are related to surveillance activities in civilian government agencies that are intended to support the mandate or operations of the agency. The audit of the confidential fund is based on the...
Can we explain on the process of procurement or disbursement? You said it is a lump sum fund. May procurement process po ba kapag confidential fund?
Since it involves confidential activities,
There is none.
there is no procedures on
No compliance to procurement law is necessary for confidential fund.
Yes,
There is no
Chair.
posting, there is no bidding. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
And with respect to the regular fund, we have to comply. In other words, the law on procurement and bidding has to be followed. Tama po?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Yes po, tama po.
Yes. Now let's go to liquidation. Ano pong diferensya ng confidential fund with the regular fund in terms of liquidation?
Mr. Chair, yung sa liquidation ng confidential fund is provided for under the joint circular. So, hindi po necessary na sinusunod namin yung sa regular fund.
Summary and in layman's term, ma'am, how do you make it more understandable for the Filipino people? Pagdating ng liquidation, distinguish natin CF from regular fund.
Mr. Chair, sa liquidation po ng CF, kung ano po ang required ng joint circular na documents to be submitted, yun po yung kailangan nilang isubmit, otherwise deficient yung liquidation nila.
Which is less compared to the regular fund.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Way
Mr.
less
Chair.
than the requirements for the liquidation of regular fund.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
In short, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, ano po ba yung mga requirements sa regular fund for purposes of liquidation na hindi nyo hinihingi sa confidential fund? In brief lang po.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I am only aware of the requirements ng sa confidential. So, I ask the help of
Mr. Chair, may just manifest my request that I hope to hear a very clear explanation from the
Maybe
COA
we can,
in the next hearing.
maybe we can address that question to the state auditor,
Yes, Mr.
Attorney
Chair.
Tumawis. Would you like to respond to the query of the Honorable Luistro?
Mr. Chair, for the information, for the regular fund, for the liquidation of regular fund, it is subject to the COA circular wherein there is a documentary requirements required to be submitted. Then for the confidential fund, I have no exact information because it is based on the another joint circular. So there are two circulars to.
So yun lang mga kataps, no? So sa hindi pa nakasubscribe, pa-subscribe mga kataps para marami pa tayong video i-upload at mag-update tayo sa CIMI dito sa CIMI News ng marami pang video na tungkol sa mga pangyayari dito sa Pilipinas at sa ibang mga bansa. Maraming salamat. God bless you lahat.